that has been declassified and released is irrefutable. I'm going to let Karoline speak to Secretary Rubio.
I'll speak to
the ongoing tension between White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt and CNN correspondent Kaitlan Collins has become a focal point of political discourse in 2025, particularly during a White House press briefing on July 23, 2025, where their exchanges highlighted deeper issues surrounding media bias, the Russia collusion narrative, and the Trump administration's approach to transparency. The confrontation, rooted in questions about declassified intelligence and the motives behind its release, underscores a broader clash between the Trump administration and mainstream media outlets, with Leavitt emerging as a staunch defender of the administration's narrative and Collins representing a press corps often viewed by conservatives as antagonistic. This analysis explores the dynamics of their feud, the context of the declassified documents, and the implications for public trust in media and government, drawing on available sources to provide a comprehensive perspective. The July 23, 2025 press briefing saw Leavitt and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard addressing newly declassified documents that allegedly expose the origins of the Russia collusion narrative from the 2016 election. These documents, according to Gabbard and Leavitt, point to actions by the Obama administration to push a false narrative about Trump's ties to Russia, despite intelligence indicating no evidence of collusion. Kaitlan Collins, known for her pointed questioning, challenged Gabbard on two fronts. First, whether the declassified documents contradicted a 2017 Senate Intelligence Committee report endorsed by Republicans, including then-Senator Marco Rubio, which found irrefutable evidence of Russian meddling but no collusion, and second, whether Gabbard's release of these documents was an attempt to curry favor with President Trump after he publicly criticized her intelligence assessments on Iran. Collins' questions were framed as an attempt to probe the administration's motives and the credibility of the declassified intelligence, but Leavitt and Gabbard interpreted them as an effort to perpetuate a discredited narrative and sow discord within the administration. Leavitt's response was sharp and direct, addressing both of Collins' questions with a combination of factual rebuttal and rhetorical flourish. On the issue of Rubio's 2020 statement, Leavitt clarified that Rubio had indeed acknowledged Russian meddling but never endorsed the collusion narrative pushed by Democrats. She emphasized that the Senate Intelligence Committee's findings were distinct from the intelligence community's actions, which she claimed had concocted lies about Trump and his associates. Leavitt pointed out that Rubio's statement focused on Russian efforts to sow distrust and chaos, not on any direct collusion with Trump's campaign. This distinction was critical as it allowed Leavitt to frame the Democrats' narrative as a deliberate misrepresentation, amplified by media outlets that failed to scrutinize the claims. Her response was not just a defense of Rubio, but a broader indictment of the media's role in perpetuating what she called one of the greatest political scandals in American history. https://reddsttate.com/Katie-Yerkovich/2025/Caroline-Leavitt's-take-down-off- Caitlin-Collins-over-Russia-hoax-IS-Of-thing-OF-beauty-N2192014. Collins' second question, suggesting that Gabbard's release of the documents was motivated by a desire to improve her standing with Trump, drew an even more pointed rebuke. Leavitt dismissed the premise as a fabrication by the press, accusing reporters in the room of trying to create division within Trump's cabinet. She noted that Trump had expressed confidence in Gabbard, countering the narrative of internal strife. Gabbard herself corrected Collins' conflation of the Senate Intelligence Committee with the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, highlighting what conservatives viewed as a lack of precision in Collins' questioning. This exchange was described by some outlets as a takedown, with Leavitt and Gabbard effectively dismantling Collins' line of inquiry. Social media reactions, as reported by the Mirror US, amplified the moment, with users noting Leavitt's visible frustration, shaking her head and scoffing. As a sign of her disdain for Collins' approach, https://www.themirror.com/entertainment/tv/Caroline-Leavitt-gesture-Caitlin-Collins-12863002. https://www.irishstar.com/Caroline-Leavitt-reaction-Caitlin-Collins. The feud between Leavitt and Collins is not an isolated incident, but part of a pattern of contentious interactions. Earlier in 2025, on March 17th, Leavitt had shut down Collins during a briefing when the latter questioned the use of Signal by Trump officials to communicate about a military strike. This exchange, reported by the Daily Mail, was described as Leavitt delivering a brutal 7-word response, underscoring her willingness to confront perceived media bias head-on. Collins' absence from a subsequent briefing on March 20th further fueled speculation about the intensity of their rivalry, with some suggesting it reflected her inability to counter Leavitt's assertive style. These moments have cemented Leavitt's reputation among Trump supporters as a fierce defender of the administration, unafraid to challenge mainstream media narratives. https://www.dailymail.co.uk/news/article-145431091/Caroline-Leavitt-CNN-Caitlin Collins-White-House.html https://www.dailymail.co.uk/media/article-1451709/Caitlin-Collins- Caroline-Leavitt-press-briefing-absent.html. The backdrop of this feud is the declassification of documents related to the Russia collusion narrative, a topic that remains a lightning rod in American politics. The documents, released by Gabbard's office, reportedly include a December 2016 presidential daily briefing that was withheld from Trump as president-elect. Leavitt and Gabbard argued that this withholding was deliberate, intended to prevent Trump from seeing intelligence that contradicted the collusion narrative propagated by the Clinton campaign and amplified by the Steele dossier. The dossier, a collection of unverified allegations about Trump's ties to Russia, was heavily promoted by media outlets and Democratic officials, despite lacking corroboration. Leavitt's critique during the briefing extended to naming specific figures, James Clapper, Andrew McCabe, and James Comey, who she claimed continued to spread falsehoods about the collusion narrative, even after its debunking, by appearing as commentators on major networks. https://www.thegatowaybundit.com/2025/7/watch-Caitlin-Collins-F-and-Video-F-N-N-201-HTTPS://watch-Caitlin-Collins-F-and-Caitlin-Collins-F-and session/. This narrative aligns with posts on X from July 2025, where the account associated with the White House press secretary, presumably Leavitt, highlighted the declassified documents as evidence of Obama's role in orchestrating the Russia collusion hoax. One post described it as one of the greatest political scandals in American history, accusing Obama of sabotaging Trump's first term. Another announced the formation of a Department of Justice strike force to investigate the declassified evidence, suggesting potential legal consequences for those involved. These posts reflect the administration's strategy to frame the declassification as a vindication of Trump's long-standing claims of being unfairly targeted. https://com/pressx/status/1948121348519395805 https://x.com/pressx/status/194837809301131131114. However, the declassification and the ensuing press briefings have not been without controversy. Critics, including Collins, have questioned the timing and motives behind the release, noting that it coincides with Trump's second term and Gabbard's need to navigate her relationship with the president after his public criticism of her Iran assessments. The 2017 Senate Intelligence Committee report, referenced by Collins, found no evidence of collusion but confirmed Russian meddling, a nuance that complicates the administration's narrative. Rubio's statement, as cited by Leavitt, acknowledged the meddling but stopped short of endorsing the collusion claims, a distinction that Leavitt used to her advantage, but which also highlights the complexity of the issue. The lack of transparency around the specific contents of the declassified documents, beyond their general claims, has fueled skepticism among some journalists and analysts, who argue that the administration may be selectively releasing information to bolster its political position. https://www.mediate.com/media/podcast/Megan-McCain-demands-Kaitlan-Collins-GT -reporter-reporter-stuff/https://www.mediate.com/media/news/Kaitlan-Collins-confronts-Tulsi- Gabard-TO-Face-with-Trump-Brutal-Briefing-Exchange/. The broader context of Leavitt's role as press secretary adds another layer to this dynamic. At 27, Leavitt is the youngest White House press secretary in history, a fact that has drawn both admiration and scrutiny. Her background as a Trump campaign spokesperson and her alignment with the MAGA movement have made her a polarizing figure. Her debut briefing on January 28, 2025, emphasized opening the briefing room to non-traditional media, such as podcasters and influencers, signaling a shift away from the D.C.-based journalists she accused of monopolizing press access. This move reflects the administration's broader strategy to bypass legacy media, which it views as hostile, in favor of outlets and voices perceived as more sympathetic. Leavitt's tenure has been marked by a willingness to challenge reporters directly, as seen in her exchanges with Collins, and to elevate alternative media platforms, a tactic that aligns with Trump's preference for direct communication with the public. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Karoline Leavitt https://news.com/news/politics/articles/2025-01-28/Caroline-Leavitt-Youngest-White-House-Press-Secretary- will-make-he-briefing-room. The feud also raises questions about media bias and the role of journalism in holding power to account. Conservative outlets and commentators, such as Red State and the Gateway Pundit, have praised Leavitt's confrontational style, framing it as a necessary corrective to a media landscape they view as complicit in Democratic narratives. They point to the Steele dossier's uncritical coverage as evidence of journalistic failure, arguing that outlets like the New York Times and the Washington Post, which won Pulitzer Prizes for their Russia coverage, were duped or willingly participated in a hoax. Leavitt's accusation that these outlets ran the dossier as gospel resonates with this audience, who see her as exposing long-standing biases. https://redstate.com/Katie-Yurkovich/2025/0723/Caroline-Leavitt's -take-down-OF-Caitlin-Collusion-hoax-is-Is-Is-Is-Is-Is-Is-Is-Is-Is-Is https://www.stegatwaypundit.com www.stegatwaypundit.com/2025/07/watch-Caroline-Leavitt-destroys-CNN-Caitlin-Collins- Conversely, critics like Meghan McCain, as reported by Mediate, have accused Collins of merely doing the job of a reporter by asking challenging questions, suggesting that Leavitt's aggressive responses reflect an intolerance for scrutiny. Collins' defenders argue that her questions about Gabard's motives and Rubio's statements were legitimate attempts to clarify the administration's claims and hold officials accountable. The tension between these perspectives underscores a deeper divide. Conservatives view the mainstream media as an adversary that distorts truth for political gain, while journalists like Collins see themselves as fulfilling a democratic function by questioning authority. This divide is unlikely to resolve soon, as both sides operate from fundamentally different assumptions about the role of the press. https://www.mediate.com/media/podcast/Megan-McCain-demands- Kaitlan-Collins-GT-absurd-punishment-FOR-crime-OF-doing-reporter-stuff/